Why, thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, today I rise in recognition of Pride Month. This is a month of celebration, remembrance, and resilience. But it's more than just that. This month represents an opportunity to fully honor the spectrum of our shared humanity, to hold space for each other, to uplift the voices that have too often been silenced, and to remind ourselves that freedom is not a zero-sum game, but rather a moment to stop and acknowledge where we've been, affirm who we are, and imagine what's possible when we choose to see each other fully. Oregon is the gayest state in the nation. Nearly 1 out of 12 Oregonians are openly members of the LGBTQ+ community, living all over our great state. We don't just tolerate queer people here, we are queer people here. Our state is a beacon for those of us who want to live our authentic lives. We lead, we teach, we raise families, we build businesses, we serve in this body, and we stand in community with our trans siblings and every Oregonian whose right to exist is being challenged. As a Black queer man in this chamber, I know what it feels like to be talked about instead of talked to. But I also know the power of solidarity. I know that progress doesn't come from shaming each other, but it comes from recognizing one another's humanity and choosing every day to protect it. We can and we must continue to have nuanced conversations about policy, identity, and fairness. But we must do so with respect, with recognition of lived experience, with patience, and with open hearts. Let's also remember where pride comes from. Pride was born not from parades or corporate campaigns, but from protest, from defiance, from people who stood up for their lives when they were told to sit down. And today, especially for trans Oregonians, that resistance remains necessary. Because the right to exist, to belong, to be safe, it's not an abstract game. It's a matter of life and death. I want to believe we can all agree that every person deserves safety, that every child deserves to grow up knowing they are worthy of love, that every Oregonian, no matter how they identify or who they love, deserves the right to pursue happiness without fear. All of us in this chamber represent constituents with different worldviews, experiences, and beliefs. But we should be bold enough to build bridges, not barriers. No one in Oregon should have to survive in a world that's still debating whether or not they exist.